you respond during times of transition? Viktor Frankl says, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Oh, such a powerful quote. And that's what we're going to talk about today on the Max Potential Habits podcast. I know that all of us are in the midst of a transition. It feels like a limbo state. There's a lot of unknowns. There's cancellations. There's all kinds of stuff going on. Fear, collective panic, uncertainty. And I wanted to talk to you about this today on the Max Potential Habits podcast so that you can relax and ease into this moment in a new way with a new mindset in that reality of knowing that your response right now to this transition is what's going to get you through it in a poised, powerful, peaceful way where you don't come out on the other side feeling depleted and drained, but instead rejuvenated, refreshed, and alive. If it's your first time here, I'm Dr. Amanda Barrientes, the host of this podcast, the founder of NFA Coaching, and the person who brings you tips, tools, and inspirational interviews each and every week to help you optimize your habits so you can thrive in your life and business. And there was no way that I couldn't talk about what's going on with the virus and everyone being in a state of overwhelm across the globe. It's very rare that we have global crises, global pandemics, collective panic, collective movements where we need to go inward and be home. And I want to talk to you about the opportunities that exist here. Talking about this quote, I think it's such powerful clarity to remember that the only thing we have control of is our thoughts, our decisions, and our actions. We can't decide what's going to happen outside of our inner reality. The world is in a space of a lot of unknowns, and it's been really interesting from a sociological perspective to see how social contagion affects the way that we respond to what's happening. And if you've been following me for a long time, you hear me say all the time what we focus on expands. So I'm choosing in this moment to focus on gratitude, love, peace, being of service to other people, bonding with my family, taking time for reflection, reevaluating everything in my life. Because imagine this, and I know this might sound a little morbid, especially in the face of a virus, and I don't want you to focus on the virus or the fear around it. I want you to focus on, does my life matter? What am I doing that's filled with inspiration? Am I at a place where I need to make a pivot in this time of transition? Because the beauty of this time of transition is that it's forcing us to slow down. Going inward and staying home. Restaurants are closed. Everything's closed in a lot of ways. I live in Boulder. Everything's not closed yet, but I keep hearing rumors that tomorrow, on the day I'm recording this, that tomorrow things are going to be closed. So it's forcing us inward. It's forcing us to reflect on our lives and to slow down and get off the treadmill. And what's powerful about that is that it gets us out of our habitual patterns. So it's a big pattern interrupt. And during pattern interrupts, we get to actually look at what has worked and what hasn't worked in our past, if you take the time to do it. So imagine you're home for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. What can you do during that time to actually help set you up for a future that feels more aligned? I always look at these moments as opportunities to shift in a new direction. I often think about individual sicknesses as spiritual growth and an evolutionary process. I've had a cold thing for a couple weeks, and I'm going on 3 weeks now, and it has been hanging on. And I look at it as I'm having massive shifts in my personal life. I've decided to move out of my house and be a traveling coach for a while. I'm going to rent Airbnbs, of course, after all of this passes this summer. But I'm going to change things up a whole bunch in my life. And part of that is because I want to go on those adventures, and I want to shift in a new direction. And this huge pandemic that we're having right now has caused me to reflect on what really matters. Where is the meaning? What do I really want to be doing working with people? What kind of model do I want to be for my family? My kids are older and I can travel some now. So there's all these different opportunities for me to reflect in those areas. And I want you to do the same. Another really cool quote about transitions is by Nancy Levin. She was a guest on episode number 60, and she says, "Honor the space between no longer and not yet." Oh, it's so juicy. Honor the space between no longer and not yet. And it's, again, about transitions. So for me, when I'm getting personally sick and then there's this collective sickness going on, I look at this as a time to purge anything that's not working for you anymore. Let it go. Are you willing to let go of what's no longer serving you stepping into the future? How can you have a mindset that's more aligned with looking at the opportunities in this moment than the obstacles? How can you look at this instead of being in fear and freak out? How can you look at it as faith and flow? How can you bond with the people around you? How can you ask yourself, what if I died next week? And did it matter? Did I matter? Did I do what I wanted? Because, when we do research on people who are on their deathbed, they always talk about their life having meaning. They talk about love. They talk about win-win relationships. They talk about how they hope that they made a difference in the world. And so I hope that during this time, you're able to slow down and reflect. And it's almost right now that we have a forced reflective period. We have a forced inward moment where people have to stay home. What are you going to do with that time? Are you going to use it to sleep, relax, rejuvenate, refresh, get connected with yourself, get connected with your family, exercise at home, start to really take care of yourself? So if you are struggling during this time of transition, here's some action steps you can take to shift your mindset in the direction that's going to support you to be responsible the way we respond. So again, we were talking about Viktor Frankl, in our response lies our growth and our freedom. So in our response, and the word responsibility means your ability to respond. So in this moment, how are you responding? It starts in your mind. If you're focused on fear, you're going to create more fear. If you're focused on the obstacles, you're going to create more obstacles. Turn it into focusing on the opportunities, focusing on the faith, focusing on the friendship, focusing on reflection, and getting off the typical treadmill. Allow yourself to brainstorm. Allow yourself to grow in new ways that you haven't been allowing yourself to because you've been on the busy treadmill, which we all get on sometimes. So the action steps. During this time, I want you to look for opportunities instead of being fearful about the obstacles. So opportunities. So if you're scared about something, write down your fear and look for all the opportunities to shift and grow. Respond in a new way. And I want you to shift your mindset to focus on reflection, refocusing, recalibration, and rebirthing. So again, like I said, I think sicknesses are often about spiritual evolution. As I'm working through some stuff that I didn't realize I was even blocking until I slowed down, this sickness that I've had keeps moving through my body in different ways, and I'm so intrigued by it. And I go, as I let go and I release and I expand and I do what I'm talking about, reflect, refocus, recalibrate, and rebirth, I notice the shifts and I feel healthier and healthier and better. And I go, awesome. I'm on the other side of it. But it's been this spiritually evolving process. It's been tied to my emotions. As I cry and let go and release and allow, I shift. So take this time to do just that. Reflect, refocus, recalibrate, and rebirth. I love that idea. So implement a lot of self-care right now. Sleep more, love more, practice gratitude, journal, and meditate. Use this time to the best of your capabilities to rebirth into a new you who gets to be more on track in your future, who gets to be more inspired and on your inspired path, who gets to connect more powerfully, who gets to be authentic and loving, because you've got this time to slow down, go inward, and use your mind powerfully to set you up for success in life, whatever that looks like to you, so that when you are on your deathbed, whenever that is, you can look back and go, yes, I reached my fullest potential. I did what I love and I served the world powerfully. I wish you all blessings, love, light, health, and awesome vibes. I'm here for you. DM me if you want to. I have a group coaching program that you can hop on for free. Let me know if you want to do that. I'll be back next week. I hope you have an incredible week where you thrive and feel alive.